Okay, there's an auction coming up in a couple days, and man, I really want this one. So I'm gonna have to do a lot more research than normal because this one is possibly a great deal, and it's near some other property I have. So I want to kind of go over with you guys on what we do for basically due diligence and researching a property before we get to an auction. As always, guys, we are two guys take on real estate. So if you have a question about anything I'm talking about, please leave a comment below. Or if you have something that you're interested in about foreclosures that you would like to know more about, leave a comment below and we'll try to make a video for it. So let's get to it. There's a property coming up at foreclosure auction. It's a single family house in Springfield, Massachusetts. And I want to talk about, it's near some of our other property that we already own and rent out, and it's a multifamily. And so there is some due diligence that I like to do before the auction. And I'm going to go over that right now, step by step. And so that you guys can do the same thing for, in your area. Now, not all the tools that I have access for Springfield are the same as if I have them in different parts of Mass or Connecticut. So please try to figure out the tools that you have locally. And I'm just going to say some terms that might actually be a little different in your area. So keep that in mind. So the very first thing is GIS. So this is a GIS report. Basically, it's a map of the area that you can go on. It basically has the property lines and details of your area. So I always like to go on to the GIS map in my area for the property. So you generally log into a website, you add the address in, and you can then basically get an idea of the frontage. You can get the setbacks. This way you can know if there's other property lines that or possibly buildable lots that you might be able to do. Often I like to click on multiple areas before because maybe there's other properties or other lots that go with that property. So that, once again, that would be the next part of the phase. So now you can see all these different lots are owned by the same person. So there might be opportunity there. And I kind of go through all that. And then once I can also generally drill down into, often they'll link into what's called the property card. That's where often you can see permits that were pulled. You can find information about, more about the house, the square footage, all that kind of details. I like to really take the time and kind of go through all that kind of information and validate it, because sometimes it's wrong. Sometimes the tax assessment's wrong. Sometimes the square footage is wrong, and maybe someone did an addition, not pulling a permit maybe, or just never got actually updated in the town's database. This happens. And so I like to take time to kind of really go through that, put that together to have a better view of what the property is. When I eventually get to the property, I might be able to see some things that were not seen on the property card. So now you got the property card, you got the GIS map, so you got a good idea of where the property is, other parcels that are owned by it. Then I'm going to the Registry of Deeds. Okay, this might be something different in your town, but this is where, because it's a full disclosure state, we get to see the notes, the mortgage, we get to see any the recorded deed. So that's where I'll go on there and I'll pull up the property. And I like to see the deed. So here on the deed that's getting foreclosed on, I know, for instance, if there's multiple parcels. So maybe that extra parcel I found on the GIS map is included in the sale. Not everyone always realizes that. It might be a side parcel or right behind the parcel. So that's kind of really good information to find. And then I can find the mortgage amount. So I might be able to know that this mortgage was from 2010. It was $160,000 back then. That's what they took out for a mortgage. And that tells me something about, and it's not a guarantee, but if the older the mortgage, the lower amount, there's a good chance that it might go for a amount that I'm willing to pay. So it gives me at least some better idea. This way, if I have two different auctions happening at the same time, and it happens a lot of times in Mass, then I can make a decision. All right, well, this one was a mortgage from 2022 at $300,000, and the ARV is $350,000. And this one is from 2010 back to $160,000 and it's worth $350,000. Well, guess what? I'm probably going to go to 2010 because the chance of it having going back for less amount is higher. So that's kind of really what I try to make sure I do so that I can have a higher success. The other thing I'm doing before I'm going to auction is I always call the town. So there's a couple reasons why I do that. I want to talk to someone at the town. In the building department, in the taxes collectors department, and I want to know if there's any outstanding liens, because those are going to have to get paid before the auction. So if it's not a tax auction, it's a regular foreclosure for a mortgage, then you still have to pay any municipal liens. And that could be if there's municipal power. So if it's like Chicopee Electric, you're gonna have to pay the electric bill that's still owed, or the water bill potentially. And you're gonna have to pay the taxes that are owed. If there's any trash or other violations on the property that haven't been paid, those are gonna have to be paid at the closing. So you're gonna wanna know that so that you can figure out your trop per bid number, because obviously that would affect, because I've seen water bills in excess of 20 grand. I've seen tax bills in excess of 100 grand. That's gonna really change your bidding strategy when you're at these properties. So it's really important that you have this information before the auction. Then I'm also talking to the building department. Are there any outstanding issues with that you're gonna have to correct? Maybe they didn't fix something properly, or if there's, outstanding permits or any other violations. Talk to the code enforcement. They might also have outstanding violations. They often, on that one foreclosure auction that I think it was like 30 units or whatever in Holyoke that we went to, there was a 214-page code violation report, which gives you a lot of information. And that's, they didn't get all the units. So you already know there's gonna be a lot of work that the city's gonna require you to do that may be above and beyond what you'd normally think for rehab. So it's really good information to have, because that could really, once again, change your bidding strategy. It's like a detective work. You want to put as much information ahead of time so that you can really make informed decisions. Whereas if you were going on the MLS, they have to disclose everything. They have to, all this information they're going to have to, have, that is great, and that's all gravy, but that's MLS. You're not going to get that here. This is pretty much an as is, where is sale. One of the last things I do, especially for a multifamily, and now I'm doing it for single families because we got burned on the single family, so really do it for all the properties, is we check the lead database. Are there any outstanding violations for lead? Because if you're buying a property that's occupied and that has a kid under 6, then you could be liable for that lead and de-leading that unit while they're there. And it could take a while to de-lead it or get them out. So you can't expect that they're gonna get out, especially within the 90 days after closing on it. You have 90 days of strict liability. You wanna get it done as fast as possible. So I would recommend making sure you check any lead database in your state. Massachusetts was kind of the forefront on lead databases, or lead paint in general. And so we have a whole database and we can check it. Just heads up, in Massachusetts, there's 2 lead databases. Make sure you check both of them, because they're not always on the same one. So check both lead databases. And yeah, those are the main things that we do before a foreclosure auction. So it's kind of a real quick recap. GIS map, we check the property records, we talk to the building department, the tax collectors, we talk to code enforcement, we are checking the lead databases. But yeah, that's really what the main things that we're checking on before any foreclosure auction, to make really informed decisions so that we don't have as many issues, and so you can win these properties or have a higher success of winning the properties, and doing a really good job of that. So I hope this was helpful, hope this was educational. I hope you learned a little something before your next foreclosure auction. If you have a question, leave a comment below and we'll get to it. As always, guys, thanks so much. Peace out.